Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 8th day of April, 2024. So I've already started this reading, and the video was not connecting with my voice. It was kind of lagging there, or something. My voice was lagging from the video or something. Anyhow, I already have the reading out, so I'm just going to restart talking about it. But before I do, remember today's the eclipse, as if you don't remember, but but it is. Now, in magic and witchcraft, you're looking at, with a solar eclipse, it's said that the energy of the entire year happens during that time, energetically. And with a lunar eclipse, it's for the entire month. So today's solar eclipse can be quite powerful if you're working magics of transition or awakening or enlightenment, because if you look at the overall numerology for the entire, the month, day, and year, you're looking at the master number 11, which is awakening and enlightenment. And so you can do something like that during that time of the eclipse. It should, so theoretically it should increase the power of that. So something about revealing truth maybe, or what is the message of the day, or something like that. If you're doing like a divination or something, that could be worked today. But aside from that, so that, I guess, an 11, master 11 energy is very powerful. You got the 11, the 22, and the 33. 11 is awakening and enlightenment and illumination. 22 is the cosmic builder or profound manifestation, and 33 is Christ consciousness. And it does not mean Jesus. It means the Christ consciousness, the Christed consciousness of true higher awareness. So 33 is an exceptional number. Although that is what he is said to have possessed, right? But it's a more broader term when they say Christ consciousness in terms of numerology. But let's go ahead and look at what I drew. Let me move my keyboard out of the way since I had to reboot everything. We start today with the rune Laguz, which means flow. It's the 21st rune of the Elder Futhark. Let's see, what was I wonder, I don't think I have where is my deal up? I think I had a 9 for the for the whole reading, but I'm going to have to redo that one because that didn't come up when I rebooted. It's not there. It sort of aced it out. But anyway, we have Laguz, which is the 21st rune, and so that has a numerology of 3. It means flow from spirit. It also means intuition and clairsentience. It can be useful for if you're an empath. If you take time every day to draw your energy back to you, you can visualize Laguz and chant it while you're doing that, when you kind of go into meditation or go into just your still point and pull that energy back to you. It's important to do that every day, just to feel better. You tend to grab on to all this energy and you're nervous at times, and if you don't shield properly, and sometimes even that doesn't work. Somebody wants to reach you energetically, and they really want to. If it's vampiric, they're going to do that, right? And it can feel really uncomfortable, so it's really important to get rid of that and to pull your stuff back and allow the other stuff to dissolve. You may have heard some people call this cutting cords. I don't like that term myself, but if that works for you, that's fine. It's sort of a visualization, if you will. I prefer the idea of dissolving channels, energetic channels. And so for me, I use Laguz to do that, and I chant that when that happens. But again, this is Laguz. And so again, flow from higher awareness, flow from spirit, intuition, letting intuition guide you today. Here we have, for the below side of things, this would have been the above side of things, or the higher self side with Laguz. With the Geomancy rune Fortuna Major, you're looking at the concept of fortune and how you get there. This would be the windfall at the end, the final analysis, the big result, whereas its complement, Fortuna Minor, would be more progressive types of success. So the steps you take along the way and what that looks like for you. But Fortuna Major is the eventual outcome, and the outcome is usually about success. Now, it doesn't have to be financial in nature, but oftentimes it is. So let me just do this again here. So 3 would be the overall numerology of Laguz, +1 for the Ten of Swords, +2 for the Two of Pentacles, and 3 for the three for the Three of Pentacles. So yeah, 9. I was right about that. The overall numerology for the reading today will be 9, which is endings or completion. And it's basically talking about the success I never got a chance to get some tea this morning, so forgive me. It's about the overall success of how you end up there, basically, endings and completion resulting in that. But how did that happen? And I think that when you start with the Ten of Swords here, you're looking at both endings and completion here, as well as new beginnings. Something's coming to an end here, but on the other side of the bay there, or the lake, or whatever the body of water, we'll say, the light's returning. Now, I know this looks bad, but realistically, with swords, you're looking at the air element, and you're looking at communication or interaction. Also truth, deception, justice, that sort of thing. But it's the idea of well, let me talk about first the Nine of Swords, because I think that's the important card before this that helps you understand this one a little bit better. There you have a guy sitting up in bed holding his head. You've got 9 swords in the background, all connected together, but on the wall. And you see a quilt that's over him that's in squares. It has squares as part of its pattern. So in a sense, everything is coming into order. Everything is coming into, I understand everything that's going on now. You can either look at that card as awakening from a nightmare, or you can look at it as he's not gotten any sleep because there's just too many thoughts rolling around in his head. He's got monkey mind, and it's not helping him sleep, right? So he's got to get it all in order, okay? Either way you want to see that card, that seems to be the two dominant ways of looking at it. But here, after that's all done, he's having to let go of perceptions that no longer serve him. And he's greeting the light in a way that he's truly letting go of all of that and beginning anew. And if you think in terms of Laguz, letting go of all dissolving all of the negative channels that have been created between you and other either your own thoughts going in different directions, or other energies coming in and wanting to essentially talk energetically with you. If they're vampiric, and it really feels ooey, but at the same time, so that's why I say you have to take that time if you're empathic, particularly if you're empathic, even if you're not, when something doesn't feel right. Well, that could be someone's energy coming in with nefarious purposes, basically, trying to drain you of yours. That's what vampiric people do with people with vampiric energy. They do that. They drain you. And you feel exhausted after you've been around them. Well, you don't have to be empathic, because everybody is to a certain degree, but you don't have to be fully empathic to experience that. And so, in a sense, he's using, he's letting go of all of those things. He's just not even seeing them anymore, basically. And his head is actually turned toward the light. If you look closely there, his head is kind of turned to the side, and you don't see his face. So he's not turned to us. This is the back of his head. He's turned to the light. He's letting the light influence him, and this no longer influencing him. He's not paying any further attention to that. So in a sense, it's giving way to new perceptions with the Ten of Swords. That's one way to look at it. And how you see fortune, how you see wealth, how you see, is it really about the overall 11 numerology for the day, where you wish awakening and enlightenment and understanding what the real truth is, right? Clarity. Higher clarity. I think the two of them, between Laguz and Fortuna Major, I think that's what that's talking about. It's that having that higher awareness from spirit that is guiding everything, guiding how you see things from this point forward. And then from there, you make a decision about your material security. And again, just like you see water in the background of the scene beyond the swords here, you're going to see it here in the card of Pentacles, which is the earth element. You see it back here. You see this dual line of demarcation. That's there. This is here. He's turning his back to his emotions about whatever has to do with his financial security. And he's going to make a rational decision. He's weighing things out here in a way that's balanced. 2 is about balance, reciprocity. It's also about love and healing. But there's something he needs to make here in terms of a decision having to do with his material security. And now that could be home, it could be work, it could have to do with choosing what college to go to, anything that's earth element related, okay? But given that we have Fortuna Major, what is your greatest fortune there? And how is that manifesting in terms of a decision today, right? And how can the decision that you make about that reflect higher awareness instead of ego mind? You know, ego mind is service to self, higher awareness is service to others. And so you can see the dichotomy that exists there, the polarity that exists there. But when you make the decision, here we have the 3 of Pentacles. And whereas, you know, maybe you didn't have a lot of contact with customers before, if you're a business owner, maybe you've decided to shift or to be in a position where you do. You have personal contact with your customers that come by, and they can watch what you're doing. They can see what you're doing. There's transparency there. Maybe there was no transparency before in your life. Maybe you worked for somebody and it was somebody else determining all of that. But maybe the decision you made was to go out on your own. That could be one way to look at this reading. And because here we have a mason who's practicing his craft, and you see the beautiful ornate facade he's created here, and these people have come by to take a look at it, perhaps to hire him or to refer him to somebody else maybe, but there's going to be some level of transaction going on here, even if it's just about them coming along and admiring his work. But generally speaking, we look at this card and we see some level of integration where they understand what's going on, he's interacting with them, and likely with the idea of maybe hiring him to do something for them as well. But it's that idea, that 3 numerology of integration and communication and interaction. So there may be it maybe before you didn't have to sell your work on your own, but maybe now you do. Maybe if you're an author, maybe you are tired of looking for a publisher, so you decide to self-publish, for example. That would be one way to look at that. But all of that leads to your own material security in some way, you see. And how that happened, though, is you let go of perceptions that were holding you back. You awakened to the new perceptions that were developing within that are higher awareness based. From there, you make that decision, right, of what you need to do in terms of your material security. You put the emotions on the back burner. Because, you know, it was causing a bunch of maybe some turmoil. You've got the waves that are pretty big there, and so that implies that there's quite a bit of emotional component to the decision, and so you're turning your back to that and not letting that influence you anymore. You know it's there, you know, but at some point you have to make some kind of practical decision about things. And given that this seems to be a passage of something, a passage of time or a passage of awareness from one thing to another, with the light returning, it's perfect for a solar eclipse reading, right? Because it's going to go into darkness if you're in the path of totality, and then the light will return. Right? So you experience that passage, and in a sense, that's what we're doing here. And in order to get through it, you know, you let your higher awareness flow into the situation, and so that you see the idea of a positive outcome with Fortuna Major here is possible, but in a different way. All the negative self-talk that may have been part of the 9 of Swords, we'll just call that the negative self-talk that kept you awake at night, where you couldn't make a decision. Now you've let go of all of it. and you're focused on the light that's returning and the higher awareness that's returning. You've let go of all of the noise, all the stuff that really doesn't matter, and now you're ready to proceed on. And so there's that transition. The night, the eclipse, when it's fully eclipsed, there's the darkness. Now you're moving into the light to make the decision that you need to make that's going to secure your future, and then you manifest it by taking command of what you're doing, and irrespective of what that is. So again, if you're experiencing some kind of a decision-making process here where that's coming up, or you've let go of everything that you thought you knew, or all of that, and you're going to try something different here, and let new awareness come in for that, there you make your decision from that point. When the light returns, you make your decision. You're ready. And then from there, you move on into something that's more lucrative, maybe, or at least more emotionally lucrative. Because if you look here, maybe there was a lack of emotional satisfaction at whatever you were doing. And you can see the up and down of the waves, right? Maybe. So that may be part of it. But at some point, you've got to turn your back to it and be very practical. It's like, well, okay, I might not like my job all that much, but I'm making a fairly good, decent living from it. So maybe I need to figure out how I can work within that. But if not, if it's completely untenable, then maybe this is about a work situation, or you're having to make some kind of decision about your future that's going to result in some material security for you. So again, it could be either starting your own business, taking a new job, choosing a trade school or college, or whatever it is that has to do with whatever decision you need to make, right? And where you want your life to go. And again, on the solar eclipse can be symbolic of that, of allowing that passage of energy where it moves into darkness, and let's face it, when you're looking at darkness, you're looking at the feminine side or receptive side of self, and from the void comes creation, you see. So that's why a solar eclipse can be extremely powerful in terms of what you're going to do with your life. It's almost life-changing, if you will. The idea that out of that void, out of that darkness, comes the light, and comes the awareness of what it is you're going to do. And from that, you make that decision, and then you move on and manifest that into reality, essentially. So, powerful day for that. Anyway, I don't think I have anything else to add. Looks like everything's aligning here on my screen. As I watch myself do this video, I can see all that happening. And it was just all of a sudden, it was just not working, And I had noticed when I came back on after I rebooted the computer, I hadn't changed the date to the 8th. I had it last Thursday's date. You have to actually do that in the software. It doesn't just naturally come up because it's the file name. And so you have to change it. And so I thought, well, okay, maybe that's why I have to be on the 8th for this to resonate. I don't know. But anyhow, that I did that, and everything seems to be coordinated here, so that's good. Everything's out on the blog over at Stepping Aside, the forecasts for the week, the correspondences for the week, the astrological overview, and the Exploring Tarot card for the week is up. If you happen to subscribe to me over on Substack, Patreon, or Medium, it's also there. The newsletter went out on Saturday, which contains all that stuff ahead of time. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, you can go over to Stepping Aside at imsteppingaside.com. Click on more. If you forget, it's right there at the top. A little box will open, a little window will open, and you'll see a bunch of stuff. But the web address is there. And you can sign up for the newsletter. You just go to the right side panel, scroll down a little bit. You'll see newsletter sign up. You put your email in there. You can unsubscribe at any time. It's just if you want it ahead of time. That's all. You can do that. You can get that from the newsletter. But other than that, my plants are coming up in the plant room. My broccoli and cauliflower and all that stuff look really good. My tomatoes are up. So I'm going to start to plant. I've already got my planting schedule, and I do the seeds on wet paper towels inside a little Ziploc bag. I blow air into it, so it has its own little environment. And so your seeds will pop sooner. They'll germinate sooner that way. And so I just do that. A couple days later, I can go plant them, and they've already broken out of the seed. And I don't have to wait, I don't have to worry about them damping off or anything like that because I water too much. And so everything's up. My peppers, my Hungarian paprika, and my big Thai peppers are up. So everything's looking good there, and the rest of them, I've got them all planned out as to when I'm going to do it. And so I informed my husband last night, I need more lighting in there because I put one light over, the string of them, and we've got 2 lights in there now because that's how much we've got coming up. But I need more. And so he'll have to probably bring in another 2 lights. But as soon as I can transition them to go outside for the day and then I can bring them in at night, I'll do that. And we'll just use the sun to do that. But right now it's a little too soon. And we really can't start doing that until May, and you still have to watch for frost. So, that's why I bring them in at night. But as soon as I can get them out there, I will, and we'll transition from the being under grow lights to the sun itself. So anyway, so that's what's been going on here. Have a good day today, and if you can see the solar eclipse, do so safely. And I have to say, in 2017, the path of totality, we were right there. We were under it. And it was really cool. So if you have never seen an actual solar eclipse, if you just haven't been able to, it's been cloudy or when it's happened or whatever. If you've never seen one, it really is cool. I really recommend you doing it, taking that time if you can, and go outside and watch this. It's spectacular. So anyhow, that's it for today. Thanks so much for coming by. Click subscribe if you haven't. I'd love you to do that. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.